Unsyndicated presents Off the Air with Sean the Legion.
Yay, brackets. Yeah, tournament. Everybody's an expert. Woo, yeah. How's your bracket looking? Who's your sleepers? Where are your upsets? Who do you have in your Final Four?
Is your bracket busted yet? Because I know mine is.
I'm serious. I know you and I talked about this a couple months ago, like whenever we started this dumb venture. By the way, hi. That's Blake from 760 WJR, the Mitch Album Show on Sports Rap. Ding, ding, ding. All right. So, Blake, I feel sorry for the diehard college basketball fans this week. I do. My heart goes out to you, okay? Because there's a little bit of sports snobbery in all of us. Like, I think it's safe to say, Blake, you and I share sports snobbery for college football. Yeah. Like, the average fan doesn't know anything, and that's okay. They don't know anything outside of their, own backyard. They might know a little bit about Big Ten, but go talk to them about what's happening out west or, whatever. Okay. You know the routine. And I think we all know hockey fans there's a lot of snobbery going on there, and that's okay. College basketball fans, you guys got to hate this because, Blake, I'm going to let you sum it up the way you summed it up to me about 3 minutes ago before we went on. Because what you said is absolutely perfect. And that's what the diehard college basketball fan has to deal with this time of year.
Yes. I watched the last 2 days. I've watched nothing but college basketball, and now I'm an expert. I know everything. My bracket. I have a perfect bracket. It's going to be perfect. I know it. I know everything that's going on.
I love it so much. It like, honestly, it really is the funniest bit. And at least, guys like you and I admit it, Blake. I mean, that's the worst part. When you can't confess, that's the absolute worst part. I openly admit, I always use, because, I love food. I always use the analogy of like a plate of food. Okay. I have a really huge helping of hockey right now. I mean, it's taking up of the vast majority of my plate. I'm not going to lie to you. And this year I had a really big helping of the Lions on my plate. Plus you have your draft stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Well, then that ends. So you still have that huge helping on your plate of hockey. You have that helping of pretty big pile of draft. And there doesn't leave a lot on your plate until this weekend. And then you said it perfectly. Everybody becomes an expert this week. And go Sparty, go Golden Grizzlies, go team that I watched play in some random conference championship game, and I fell in love with their one big. And I mean, all that crap. I feel sorry for you, real diehard college basketball fans, that you're in it from November on. My heart goes out to you guys because the amount of misinformation and partial information that goes on the next few days is incredible.
Yes.
I hate to go back to the generational argument. I think old people are dumb. Al? Do I hear any arguments there?
No. I do really enjoy this time of the year because, though, like what you were saying, you have a full heaping of hockey, like the playoff races, the playoff hunts going on. Now we have March Madness going on. There's a lot of golf nerds that were excited about the players. I think that's what was going on this weekend, which that kept popping up on my Twitter timeline, and I was getting upset. Like, who's watching that over the Big Ten championship game? And I want to know who it is because it couldn't be me. This is the best time of the year. Golf starts the Masters. And I still don't watch it then, but that's when golf starts. Not right now.
There's something special about being in a workplace as well on those first couple of days. Because, I mean, let's face it, two of the most magical days on the entire yearly calendar are those first 2 days of the tournament. I'm being deadly serious when I say that. Blake, I think you would agree with me because Lord knows January 1 has lost its punch in college football. Now we have to wait and see, okay, well, what day are the semifinals being played? That's what we've had to wait for in recent years. Pound for pound, for years, in my mind, January 1 held the title because not only did you have the plethora of bowl games, but you also, for the hockey nerds, had whatever outdoor venue was going on that particular day. Boy, I'll tell you what, pound for pound now, when you can start a little bit before noon and go well into the night on those first 2 days of the tournament, it's tremendous. What an incredible, incredible watch.
And we're back to multi-TV season.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to have the 3 TV setup rolling again. I'm going to have the main screen with whatever the best game is, and then we'll be back to having 2 games on the top screens, maybe a Wings game up there from time to time, whatever's going on in hockey. Like, we're back in full-fledged multi-TV life. And I haven't had that in a few months.
I'm sorry, only because I'm sitting downstairs and we're having this conversation that we had no intention of having. But if you remember the summer of 2020, when they finally decided to bring hockey back and have the Stanley Cup playoffs, it was August 2nd, I think it started. Like sitting down here 10 feet away from where I'm at right now, with some days there'd be 5 guys over, some day there'd be 10 guys over. But Blake, having that first game come on at noon and literally being able to go to 1 o'clock in the morning, it was the greatest thing in the history of mankind. I mean, to have all day hockey like that, I mean, just walked around with mahogany all day. I mean, honestly, it was a phenomenal experience, for a guy like me. There's Lynn. Hi, Lynn. But yes, it's true. Everybody is a college basketball expert right now.
I'm the biggest college basketball nerd as of 48 hours ago. I can't name any names on these teams, but man, I can tell you who's going to win.
The funny, can I tell you, Blake, seriously, when I was younger, and I'm sure Todd, even though he's younger than I, Todd can remember this, back before this newfangled internet thing, when they would have the brackets announced, I kid you not, my boyhood friend and I were talking about this just this afternoon. Like literally, I would call my buddy and go, okay, I want you to get those 2 sides and I'll get the other 2 sides, because you couldn't go online and see it. Yeah. And the newspaper didn't come out to the next day. So you better have your pencil and paper in hand. And it was my responsibility. I had to get those brackets right, man. That was just the way that it was. And we had a nice system where we never screwed up and everything. But it is amazing how much this has changed. And I always used to tell that story to my son. And he would it's so hard for him to fathom because it's always been there. And then Todd said, and then you leveled up and you did it on your old school Excel file. If I knew to this day what an Excel file was, I would shake my head in agreement. But that's why Todd's the brains behind this operation for sure.
You don't know what Excel is?
What is an Excel file?
It's like a spreadsheet.
Look, a woman's even trying to at me.
I know.
I text it to myself. I have no idea.
Can we get a bracket? Can we just dive in?
Yes, dive. Let's take a deep dive into which region do you want to take a deep dive into?
Let's look at. We got it. We're ready. Do you see this?
Yes.
I have, just so everyone knows, I have it printed out. I'm ready. I love this so much.
All right. Where do you want to start? I'm going to follow your lead here with your Excel drive or whatever it's called.
UConn is obviously winning.
Yes.
Now, Sean, how do we feel about the Big Ten? Are we Big Ten? Are we standing for the Big Ten this year?
No, I don't feel real good about the Big Ten. You don't feel real good about the Big Ten, do you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Purdue.
No. But
we're
Northwestern,
done. Thanks.
Those nerds deserve a win. I think we take Northwestern over last year's Cinderella FAU.
You know what was really Villanova's old coach was on the
Jay Wright.
Yeah, he was on the selection show today. Jay Wright, of course, and he's really excited about the guard play in that game. So I sat back knowingly and going, "Yep, that Jay Wright, he knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows exactly what he's talking about."
Guard play is important in March. If I've learned nothing, it's that guard.
But you know what? I'm going to go with the 9 seed Wildcats. Go
there
Big Ten.
We go. Yes, Big Ten. San Diego State. Shout out Brady Hoke, as we just talked about.
He just retired, didn't he?
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah.
So, but the basketball team's going to win one for him, I think.
You know what? This is where I'm going to show I'm the smartest guy in the room because the 12 seed has such an abnormal amount of success. I think I saw a number. It was 39%, if I'm not mistaken, as I was watching the show. See, I'm picking things up. I'm going to take UAB.
Okay. I like it. And I hope someone's writing all this
Ask
down
me to name
us.
one player on UAB. I dare you. I dare you.
Give me Yale over Auburn.
Oh,
there's the one. Give me the nerds. This is the nerd bracket. We got Northwestern and we got Yale moving on. A bunch of nerds.
Oh, March Madmen. Wow. Brett and Kristen remember March Madmen. I'll have to explain March Madmen to you at some point.
Yes. Yeah, no,
you know what? I'm gonna go with Auburn because Charles Barkley.
And they just won the SEC. That's why you're picking them.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking. Oh, give me Duquesne. I don't know why, but
me too. I like saying Duquesne, so I'm gonna take Duquesne.
I'm not a fan of Mormons. I don't know if I can say that on here.
Dude.
I'm kidding. I just want that clear. It was a joke. Jimmer Fredette was one of my favorite players growing up. He was great, but Illinois, Big Ten, Stan. We'll ride with the Big Ten. Give me Drake over Washington State just for fun. Why not?
One of the guys on the show was talking about how good Washington State are, and they're very dangerous as a 7. So that sounds good to me. So I'll go with that.
So we're fighting on that one. I like it.
Sure.
And I'll take Iowa State.
Yeah, me too.
Ride for the Big 12.
Me too. All right, that's good. That was.
Now,
did we break it down like nobody else? Was that great?
Nobody else. I hope everyone's enjoying this. Somehow our viewership's still going up. So
that's amazing how that works out. Yeah, because you know what? People can relate. I mean, let's shoot straight. None of you know what the hell's going on right now. If you knew what the hell was going on, you'd turn this off 10 minutes ago.
Yes. Now the real question is Michigan State. I didn't catch your podcast earlier, but talking about the state of Michigan State. How are we feeling?
Okay, all jokes aside, I don't like this matchup. I think this team plays very tough. That's what I heard a lot of people say, at least. Michigan State hasn't found that toughness yet. They have times of toughness. I had a feeling that they would squeak in. They did more than just squeak in. You know, a lot of people thought they would be in the first 4. Boy, I got to be honest with you. I like Mississippi State in that game. If that toughness factor is what a lot of people are talking about, I just don't think this is a very tough Michigan State team at all. I really don't.
Well, there it is. So we're taking Mississippi State. Now, you had a 12-5 earlier.
Did you see what Mike said? Blake didn't catch it earlier. That's nice. That's fun. Yeah, he's here supporting. And what were you doing? Come on, man.
I had stuff going on.
A lot of mean going on.
What am I going to do watching a podcast all about Michigan State? I would have just jumped in there and yelled at you guys.
There's validity to that. Okay, go ahead.
What am I going to do?
All right.
Give me Grand Canyon over. Give me Grand Canyon over St. Mary's.
All right, Bryce Drew. Who can forget his heroics at Valpo in '98? I'm going to go with another 12 seed, just because Bryce Drew hit that shot in '98.
This is such a good breakdown. I love this so much. Give me Bama. They don't have any murderers on their team this year. So,
did you hear what Rieger said?
No. What? As long as
Look
MSU.
what Rieger said. Dave Rieger in the chat.
Oh no.
Oh, Rieger, you're a classic. Yeah, Bama. I
Bama.
don't think, and nobody's killed anybody this year, right?
Exactly. No murderers on the team,
right.
so that's good. Give me New Mexico over Clemson.
Ooh, I'll take Clemson.
I
can't believe we're doing this. This is abysmal. But go ahead.
This is
I'm just following your lead. This is abysmal.
Baylor. Give me Baylor over Colgate.
Baylor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Nevada over Dayton.
The Wolfpack.
Yeah.
I just heard nobody wanted Dayton. Was that the site or was that the Dayton Flyers? I think it was the site. I'll go with the Dayton Flyers.
Okay. And Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. Sounds good.
They have to get revenge after last year. Losing in the first round to Princeton, those nerds. Come on. You're Arizona. You're a basketball school.
All right. So what else do we got? Where are we heading?
We're heading to the south.
Blake just earned a bad. By the way, somebody suggested Michael Drew on Twitter, Fred Hoiberg as the next Michigan State coach. I just thought you might like to know that.
He's the coach at Nebraska, right?
At Nebraska, yeah.
You're gonna steal him, you think?
That's what he suggested.
Who wants to follow up Izzo?
That's a good question. I mean, the first thing I point at is the last 4 years, but go on. Houston.
Yeah. Houston all day. They did look bad in the Big 12 championship. So just saying recency bias, they didn't look great.
All right.
Give me Nebraska. Ride for the Big 10 again.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
Nebraska.
And then give me the Dukes over Wisconsin.
I'm going to take this is the way I took 2 12s already. So I'm going to go with the Badgers because I love the Big 10.
Yeah, we're Big 10 stands, but give me the Dukes.
The Big 10.
Remember, I'm trying to validate a loss for Michigan State for you earlier in the season. The Dukes beat MSU.
Yes.
Yes. It validates things.
Thanks for that reminder.
You're welcome.
Cool.
No problem.
Jackass.
Give me Duke over Vermont.
I want to take the Catamounts because I love Catamount, but I'm going to go with Duke.
I would love for Duke to lose in the first round. That'd be fantastic. And I hope that there's a court storming too if they do lose.
Rieger said, according to FanDuel, Michigan State does play at noon on Thursday.
Man,
Michael Drew, have you heard anything official yet? Have you seen anything official yet? Just if you guys have heard or seen anything official, let me know. I'm not trusting him. Boy,
I'm not trusting FanDuel.
FanDuel.
Right. There has not been any announced times yet.
All right, Texas Tech, NC State.
NC State, because we talked about this earlier. I watched the ACC championship last night, and their big man is just awesome. He looks like an offensive lineman. He's incredible, but he has like the best passing I've ever seen out of a big.
All right, do it for Jimmy V. Sure, I'll take the 11 seed. Yeah,
and then give me Kentucky.
Oh, I would love it if Brett. I'm with you. I would love it. That would be awesome if Oakland knocked off Kentucky. It's just not going to happen. So
Kentucky has I've watched 3 Kentucky games at most this year, and they're very inconsistent. In those 3 games, very inconsistent.
By the way, can we take a quick break before we continue? And I can tell you about our friends from the Motor City Rockers. And let me correct myself, by the way. It is the playoff bound Motor City Rockers. They took 2 of 3 this weekend from the Port Huron Prowlers. They're heading to the playoffs. Congratulations to my boy, Gordy Brown. I think it's fantastic. They have a long trip coming up this weekend, but the weekend after, they will be back at Big Boy Arena. But the good news is, took 2 out of 3 from the Prowlers, and they are heading back to the playoffs. Be a part of it. See the action live at Big Boy Arena. mcrockershockey.com. Playoff bound. That's pretty cool. All right.
They made the bracket. That's what you're telling me, right?
They did.
We don't even know who Florida's playing yet. Yeah, so
for Lomas Brown, we'll take the Gators.
Yeah, got to.
Okay.
And then Marquette. Marquette's awesome.
Marquette is one of my favorite cities in the state of Michigan. I know this is a different Marquette, but just because of that, I'll go with Marquette.
I like your logic there. That was
All
good.
right.
Purdue. They're gonna
They'll
make it out of
lose
the
to
first
somebody.
round.
They can't lose to a 16 again. They can't.
No.
But they'll lose. They'll probably lose in round 2.
Yes.
Okay.
And then give me Utah State. Sure.
All right, I'll go with the Aggies. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I
why
love
not?
my Aggies.
The Mountain West is really good. They had a lot of bids this year. They have a lot of teams in the tourney, so that means they're good, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Give me McNeese over Gonzaga.
All right, I'm with you. By the way, Nick Mays, fine young man, confirmed 12-15 for MSU on Thursday, Nick. Oh, Dave Rieger is so happy right now.
Blake
Dave Rieger
is very
so
upset, though.
Happy right now. Blake is upset, but Dave Rieger's very happy right now.
Yeah.
There you go, Dave.
Congrats,
Maybe you
Dave.
could come over and we can eat some food. You hate my food, but I'd have you over anyway. Yes, you can come over and eat my meat. Sean are making bracket picks based on the breadsticks. I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Casa Calabria. It's a great spot, Jay. You know that.
By the way, I think I picked every 12 over 5. Besides one.
I took 3.
3.
Yeah, I took 3 12s. They are 39%, so
yeah,
that.
So the odds are in our favor.
Again, I apologize ahead of time to real basketball fans. You know what? We are doing this for you. I'm serious.
Yeah.
We are doing this for you. You people that live and die this stuff, you have to put up with a bunch of idiots out there who sit there and try to talk like they know what the bleep they're talking about. I'm not even going to pretend with you. Listen, I love the pageantry of it. I am not going to pretend like I know any of this crap. It's just not going to happen.
I know all of it. It's perfect.
Blake, in his 47 hours of watching college basketball, he caught up with all of it. Oh, wow. OU's playing at the same time? That kind of sucks. I'd like to watch Coach Campy. You know what I'll be watching, but
that just created so much work for me on Thursday, too. I don't want to talk about it.
That's what you get for being a meanie.
Give me Hunter Dickinson. I don't even think he's playing. He's hurt, but give me him. He'll wear a ski mask in.
I'll take Kansas.
Let's go with another team that won their conference tournament just because, again, recency bias. Give me Oregon.
A lot of people thought that Oregon was going to be the reason that Michigan State was really going to have to sweat this out. It didn't happen. So because that didn't happen, it's not going to happen for them. I'm going Cox.
Wow. Yeah, you've always liked the Cox.
I do love Cox.
Give me Creighton. Creighton is one of my Final Four teams.
Yeah, you know what? I have a special place in my heart for the MAC schools. I actually did MAC broadcast for a couple of years, but the Akron Zips pulled out a miracle, but I'm going to go with Big Adam Creighton.
Yes.
Hockey fans out there?
Texas, and I want them to play Tennessee.
All I know is they're back. That we could call that next matchup the back game. Texas versus Tennessee. Would that be awesome? St. Peter's was really cute, but not again. I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Nope. And we don't have to go further than that. I think we've done enough breakdown. We'll do our second round breakdowns next Sunday.
You want to do that next Sunday?
It'll be too late.
Why would it be too late?
Because the second round games will already be played.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Were you guys happy with this? Is this what you expected tonight?
If everyone enjoyed that, give a thumbs up.
I'm not gonna go out there and lie about this crap. I like seriously. I'm not joking. I think it's one of the greatest frauds perpetuated in the sports media. I'm serious. How everybody and their brother and the same fraud for people like Lynn out there. Okay. For people like Lynn out there, the same fraud is perpetuated when the Wings get good. And we had that little spell a couple weeks back. Remember? We had that little spell where people got cued a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden everybody became a big hockey expert, and Hockey Town was back and all that stuff. Stop it. You're not a fan. You're like, it's okay. That doesn't mean you can't root. You can't enjoy it. But don't sit there and break down to me what's going on. You don't know. Like, knock it off.
I agree.
Drives me out of my mind.
So that being said, what's your Final Four?
Like all jokes aside, I don't know how you could go against UConn. I really, truly don't. Like, I've watched enough to know that they're the defending champion, and you have to give a ton of respect to them. I haven't even filled out a bracket yet. So how about I'll go with all the 1 seeds except Purdue. Is that good?
Okay. Yeah,
I'll go with all the 1 seeds except Purdue.
And then Creighton instead of Purdue because they're in the same region. I like it.
This is going back in the day, like Mickey Redmond, Big Adam Creighton. He wasn't Adam Creighton, he was Big Adam Creighton. Can I tell you about our friend Lindsay Broadwell, by the way? We have a lot of other stuff to get to. Blake, when it is time to buy or sell your house, it doesn't matter, buy, sell, both, you need to contact the agent that is going to take care of you. I recommend Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business. So when it's time to move, Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and that everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyers, sellers, first-time buyers, doesn't matter. She's got your back. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. We meant to talk about this, all jokes aside, we meant to talk about this last week, and I don't think we ever got to it. I've been told that 2 of the greatest days you could be in the sports book all year are at tournament time, the first day and second day of the tournament. And I have a group of friends who have always gone out there for probably 20 years now. And they stopped asking me to go a few years ago because I'm usually so busy this time of year. And whether it be calling games or, before I got fired, doing shows and everything, I could never go. But with that being said, like Blake, really and truly, where does this on the sports calendar, where does this rank? Where does the majesty that is March Madness rank for you?
It's number 2.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah, I really do love this weekend.
Oh, it's awesome. I
love it.
Oh, this is serious. I know we were having fun with it earlier. No,
yeah.
This is fantastic.
And I know your number 1 is the first 2 weeks of Stanley Cup playoffs, I'm assuming, right?
The first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs in my lifetime went from such an utter bore to can't miss television. Yeah. Really. I have to give the NHL credit. Really, since the lockout and cost certainty, the first round of the playoffs is absolute can't miss. I'm not joking when I say that. So pretty hard to deny that. Like
my number 1, hands down, is the opening weekend of college football. It's not even Labor Day weekend, games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. There's 5 straight days of college football.
Unbelievable.
It's the best thing in the world.
Really. Doesn't it always seem like there's a good game on Monday night too? Like the Sunday night usually is a stinker, but the Monday night game, always that Labor Day game just seems to be Keon Coleman. I was holding myself in the fetal position last Labor Day. Remember that?
Yep.
It was disgusting.
It was a real shame.
Mike said Purdue is winning the whole thing to complete my nightmare. Could you imagine?
No, they're not. Those nerds will never win it.
Could you imagine that? Oh my gosh, I'd be sick to my stomach. Yeah, it's pretty hard to argue with that. I told you I have a very unnatural love for week 0 just because it's back. I really do. And I know you and I talked about that, on the radio before I got fired. But I have a natural love for week 0. And my unnatural love for week 0 would become even more complete is if they loaded up the schedule that Sunday, because more often than not, Blake, there's not a lot going on in the NFL. And even Labor Day weekend, when the NFL has it off, could you imagine college football just owning that day? It's just saying, you know what? We're going to have a noon game. We're going to have a 3 game. We're going to have a 6 game, and we're going to have a 9 game. I don't know why they don't do that. It doesn't make sense to me. the kids, stop it with that stuff. Like, can we drop that once and for all? I just think they could so wholeheartedly own those 2 weekends. I don't know why they don't. But for me, week 0 is not only the start of, that blessed season, but it also means the cider mill near my house is opening. So you got that. When you can get those double whammies going on, man, that's a fantastic day. That is a fantastic day.
I agree 100%. I mean, it's that weekend though, and it's this upcoming weekend for me. Like, I'm so locked in on. I tell the wife, you won't see me for a couple days. I'm locked in. I have all the TVs going. I'm watching all of the sports.
It's you know what? I hope you've used the excuse. If you haven't used the excuse yet, the unarguable excuse is, it's just 3 little words. It's my job.
I have to. It's work.
How do you argue with that? It's my job. Do you really honestly think you're going to be talking about this Ole Miss West Kentucky State game? I might.
Well, now the thing is now I definitely will, because you and I will be texting about it on Saturday.
That's exactly it. Rieger said, I have gone multiple times to Vegas for the opening weekend. It is awesome. Lynn said, I love March Madness. I love the upsets and how you find yourself cheering for the underdog. Also, it is a one and done each game. So exciting to watch. There's something to be said about one and dones, man. There just is. There's something to be said about one and dones because, how many times have you heard it? You could play a best of 7 series and this team could beat that team in 5 games every single day. It's just that day. Yep. It's what do you got that day? Does somebody have the hot hand? Does somebody go cold? It really is. It's I don't even know how to explain it. And I know I said this before. If you have an opportunity to go to a Final Four, it is one giant circus. And for me, it's not just the press row and talking to all these guys coming up and running into people. Like, honest to goodness, it's everything that's going around. It's like the circus. It's like, what the draft is. There's just a circus-like atmosphere outside. And I still contend people don't quite understand what's coming to Detroit in a short amount of time. I still contend that, but here we are. Todd said Pro Bowl, 2 draft report cards, 3 home run derby. I told you I did an about face on the home run derby, right? My son absolutely loved the home run derby, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like, this isn't about me. They're not trying to grab you. They're not trying to grab me. It's about like, and he would get so excited for the home run derby and he'd write down, who the guys are and, his little notes on each guy and everything. So I think because of my kid, I've kind of done an about face on that. Now that he's, 24 years old, are we going to sit down and really watch the home run derby? We'll have it on, but it's not like when he was a kid where he was on the edge of his seat and just loved every second of it. You know what I mean?
The home run derby is the only one of those events though that is still it's still watchable. Like the dunk contest isn't watchable.
Isn't that sad?
Like the skills competition in the NHL, I know you're a hockey elite, so you probably watch it, but
no,
for an average fan, it's not watchable.
I don't.
Okay. The home run derby is still watchable. There's something special about just a guy just mashing
bombs. There's something. No, you know what? I tend to watch the slap shot thing, and I like some of the relays, the speed relays, but no, I'm not in with the skills competition that much with the NHL. But there's dingers, man. There's something you can't put a price tag on it. No. Hey, let me tell you about our friends with Wealth Advantage Group. Of course, the brothers, Mike and Jeff. There they are. Handsome fellas. If you're ready to take charge of your financial future, you got to give these guys a call. The Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by those 2 handsome fellas, Mike Husak and Jeff Husak, over 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, or already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients through all stages of life and have clients in over 20 states. The investment world is a complex one. So if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it might be time to work with a couple of experts. Reach out to those guys, the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574, or view their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Oh, Jason, you're absolutely right. Jason said Shawner just loves the Chris Berman impersonating a chicken. Oh my gosh, did that
Can I have an update though for you?
Yes.
The Oakland game is not at the same time.
It is not
7:10 p.m.
Oh, that makes me happy. Both on Thursday?
Both on Thursday.
Oh, good. That makes me very happy. Good.
Yep. So
yeah. Campy's a good dude, man. He's been around the game forever. He's a character. Good for him. I'd love it if they knocked Kentucky off. Are you kidding me?
They also like the fact that neither of them are playing and there's games in Detroit. That part kind of stinks.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to what we talked about earlier. I think when you lose 13 games 4 years in a row, and you're just a few games over 500 in a very mediocre, I know we don't want to say it, very mediocre Big Ten, you get what you get. Really.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Big Ten is elite.
Rob said 6-3 Penn's final.
The Wings are dead.
That was an ugly, ugly game. We were talking about that beforehand because, full disclosure, I had the two TVs going on. I was watching the tournament specifically for Michigan State. I'm not going to lie. And watching the Wings game. And it was, gosh, what point was it? I wrote it down, but left my sheet of paper upstairs. They had 5 shots with like 5 minutes to go in the second period. Like, come on, man. Like you're in a playoff hunt. It was great to stop the bleeding yesterday. Really, it was great to stop the bleeding. They get worked almost every shift out on the ice too. Like honestly, it's been really painful to watch. There's no other way to say that. And as Kirk said, Wings D is bad. They were only able to cover up the issues on their blue line for so long. Mm-hmm. And I think, Blake, I know we talked about it back in the fall. We talked about it here on Unsyndicated, on Off the Air and What the Puck. You can't put a price tag on what Alex Lyon was doing. Give him all the credit in the world. But the big question was, would he be able to keep doing it? Because he had never been asked to keep doing it. He was magical with Florida last year. And then, they went back and we know how that worked out. But you can only do this for so long. And I think the way he played masked a lot of deficiencies on their blue line. There's no other way to say that. And, I'm trying to find good news out of this swoon, and it's tough to do it. It really is, because I think if anything, it kind of revealed more questions moving into next year. And that's frustrating. Dylan Larkin, I'll say it again, and I know people get mad at me. He is a wonderful number 2 center. And they are a different team with him out there. But I'll tell you what, the compete level is kind of what got me with a lot of their lines, and just watching their lines get worked. That really kind of frustrated me. Did you see what Rob said? Would Yzerman pull a Lou Lamoriello and take over the team? I could not imagine Steve Yzerman back behind the bench. I could not imagine that. Did you see
such a weird sight?
Did you see Rieger? Rieger's just giving.
He's just firing bullets, man.
Blake was right not to trust FanDuel. Oakland, Kentucky is 7-10, but glad they had the MSU game correct.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Can I explain to people what that means? That means Dave has the day off and Blake has to work. That's what that means.
Yeah.
All right, listen, can I talk to you about our other friends? It's nice to tell you about friends on our show, and the guys at Legacy have been great, and they can be great to you as well. All you have to do is call them and put them to the test, get your free quote. Did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already done just that and got a hold of Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy Partners are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents, and they can provide you a full service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Like I said, just give them a call, put them to the test. You get yourself a free quote. Legacy has helped many out there by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. Yeah, they save you some money as well. Isn't that what it's all about? Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're paying too much and you could be underinsured. What are you waiting for? Give Legacy Partners a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or your business insurance needs. Call them today at 586-209-4106 or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Put them to the test. You will not be disappointed. Hey, Blake, before we get out of here, and I'm not even taking a shot at you, I'd love to get your thoughts on Juwan Howard. It had to happen. I know that in a perfect world, you hate to let go of your legends. And Juwan Howard is a guy that has meant so much to this Michigan basketball program. And I don't care who you rooted for. The Fab Five were a cultural phenomenon. They really were. Blake, this had to happen.
Yeah, 100%. My biggest question after it happened was, are they firing him for cause? Because all the stories that have been coming out over the last couple of weeks, like all the people he was trying to fight and just everything going on behind the scenes there. And it makes sense, like watching the product that was on the court. Like that team had given up completely. I don't know if you know this. Michigan football has won as many games in the calendar year 2024 as the basketball team.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's just
it had to happen. And yeah, it does stink 100%. Like, but it clearly wasn't working. Juwan was not the guy bringing in the talent that Michigan should be bringing in, because at the beginning it was working clearly, but the whole NIL and transfer portal, I think we've seen it. Like Michigan's kind of not been up to snuff on that stuff either. So move on.
You know what it reminds me of? Not at the beginning, because you're right. John Beeline, left him, to use a Ryan Day quote, on third base. But when Alan Trammell came back to the Detroit Tigers in the early aughts and people were going crazy, and like Blake, I'm not joking. I was on the radio. I hated it. I hated it with a passion. And you're trying to be that guy. You're trying to be different. And I said, no. Let me explain to you why I hate it. Here is a guy that is an absolute legend to all of us, okay, that grew up in that era. An absolute legend to all of us. He just took over the worst franchise by a mile in Major League Baseball, a team that is years away from competing. I know how this is going to end, and I don't want to see his legacy tarnished in any way, shape, or form. Now, fast forward 20 years later, I don't think anybody thinks about that, okay? I just didn't want to go through that whole process of, do you want to be the guy that fires Alan Trammell knowing what he's meant to this franchise and how beloved he is in this town? And that's why, he was put in an absolute no-win situation. So because of that, I hated when they brought Alan Trammell on. I'll tell you point blank, I didn't think this would end the way that it did with Juwan Howard. Remember what everybody was saying about him, but as somebody pointed out to me, I think it was Mike this morning, said, okay, you got to remember, for all the hype about Juwan is ready, he was still kind of a lower level assistant coach, man. Let's not mince words there, okay? As much as the reputation seemed to precede himself before coming to Michigan, and certainly it showed itself at Michigan. There's no doubt about that.
I think when he got hired too, though, it was the idea of bringing in like one and dones, because he had all those connections to the NBA. The thought process was he could bring in one and dones that would turn this program into like what Kentucky has done and stuff
Sure.
like that. And how college basketball has changed, like it's weird because one and dones aren't as important because they go play like even in the G League or that overtime elite league, but you have to be really good at the portal because in college basketball, more even than college football, these rosters turn around 80% given the year. It's crazy. So you're constantly bringing in new talent.
All right, we got a couple minutes, but Rob brought up if Michigan doesn't hire Dusty May, then who? John U. Bacon says Beeline would be open to considering the job, but hasn't been offered. I doubt it would happen. John Beeline, 71 years old. Let's not mince words here. Single-handedly brought back Michigan basketball. He really did. John Beeline is one of those guys I don't think even Michigan State fans have something negative to say about him. I mean, he did a heck of a job. He always handled himself in such a classy manner. Blake, bringing 71-year-old John Beeline back as the head coach of Michigan. Does that sound like an intriguing thought to you?
I wouldn't be completely against it.
Okay.
Like, I want to see what other options are out there, obviously, but it's also so tough, like, to run it back. And a guy that's been out of college basketball, and like we were just talking about all the changes in college basketball, I just don't know. I don't think he would be interested. I really don't. Like, we talk about all these guys getting out. Like, why would he want to get back in?
Mac Brown. Like, I don't know why Mac Brown just popped in my mind. It was like for him to go back to North Carolina, and to his credit, he's done all right. He's done all right. But, you know, this was a guy that was sitting in a cushy job and, you know, could ride off into the sunset. But obviously he still wanted to coach. He obviously wanted to coach still. So
yeah,
we'll see. All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
I'm just really excited to finish filling out this bracket. I'm really excited. I love it. I love this time of year, man.
I do too, but you know what? I'm glad that you and I were honest because 99.9% of other things out there are not honest about this week. We don't know what we don't know about this tournament. We all love it. We all embrace it. We'll all be dialed in on Thursday and Friday, but for the college basketball elite out there, they hate this because everybody's an expert. So you and I came on here and said, we're going to shoot straight. We're not going to play that fake game. It's fraudulent.
No, we still broke down the bracket, though. We gave you winners.
Did we ever?
I'm going to bet on every single first round game.
You are
every single one.
Degenerate. It's unbelievable.
I'm going to bet on every single game, and it's going to be fantastic.
I just want a 10-minute thing with you and Mike. Where you guys just go, I mean, pants down around your ankles. You're just so happy, just making bet after bet over teams you have no idea about. That's beautiful.
Yep. I will put out, me and Mike will do something. We'll either record something or do something and we'll put it out. That's
Rob
going to happen.
said fantasy baseball drafts before Wednesday due to Soul Game. Oh, Jeremy Otto. Hi, Jeremy. There's a good guy. Voice of UAD. Nick May said, if MSU gets out of the first round, I like the UNC matchup. See, you know, Nick, I'm going to say it again just to repeat. All I've heard about Mississippi State, I think I saw them once earlier on television this year. I'm not going to sit here and lie. All I've heard is how tough they are. And if that's the case, Nick, you've watched Michigan State this year. This is not the prototypical Tom Izzo tough team. They're just not. This is not a, you know, Izzo team. I think this is a team that I've seen wilt more often than not.
Your big stink.
Now that I said that, they're going to go on another magical run, just like 2005, where nobody saw that coming.
Well, what month is this? I'm confused.
January, February, Izzo.
There it is. The national championships played in April, so that's the funny thing.
All right, so Blake and I will be back Thursday night to break down the first day of the action. Shep and I are going to do something tomorrow, and I think Wednesday, and then we got What the Puck. I want to make sure I know who the guests are on What the Puck. One former Red Wing and a local guy. How's that? That's what I'll say.
That's a beautiful tease.
Until I get like official confirmation that they're coming on. A former Red Wing and a local guy. That's the best way I can do it.
I love it.
All right, Blake, God bless you. It's nice to chat with you, my friend.
It's great to be back, man.
Off the Air with Sean Belegian, featuring Sean Belegian and Blake Matrazak. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Matrazak. Executive produced by Sean Belegian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Play It Loud by Jam Studio. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the unsyndicated podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Off the Air with Sean Belegian on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.